Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. Your support is appreciated. Feel free to leave a comment, like a video. A new subscriber here or there is awesome as well. Enjoy the video. I've had this King's Draw fridge for over a year now. Yeah, I've got the label covered over, but that's all right. It's still a King's fridge under all of that. Let's take a look at it. Well, we'll get rid of these bags off top first. It's been so good having some Velcro strips added to the bottom of some bags and then thrown on the top of the fridge. All the essentials. Let's open the fridge up and check it out. First off, latch, fairly self-explanatory. Lift it up, pull the drawer out. The drawer has 3 dividers in it that are actually removable. They're not really adjustable. They do have some little sliders on them, which you can use to sort of help lock in different sized items, which I've used, and it's been quite handy. I've also run the fridge when I'm using it for day trips and just even grocery shopping. I generally just take the dividers out, so I've got a lot more adjustability. When I had this drawer fridge on a trip, I went out towards Birdsville through central Queensland and a little bit of outback New South Wales. This was the fridge I ran for a 10-day trip, and I filled this thing up right to the brim, top to bottom, front to back. I had some drinks, I had meat, I had vegetables, which we all know can be a bit hit and miss in camping fridges. But I was able to fill this thing right up for myself to last me that whole trip worth of cold items. I did have to restock on cans of drink and waters. I was reloading those in after I was taking one out. I wasn't loading it up fully with drinks. I know a lot of campers and forward drivers and tourers do like to have a fridge which is a drinks fridge. I can definitely appreciate having a drink fridge dedicated just for that, but for trying to use this as utility as possible with as many uses, I think the smaller size, easy to access for people of different heights, out of the back of a ute with a tailgate, 30 litres was perfect. Yes, it does mean you need to manage your food a little bit more and drinks. So if you're going camping and you're having drinks with friends and you might want to be loading up, yeah, you might need to consider how that works for you. I always like to point out a negative or two here and there just so it's a bit more honest, real world type review. The inside of this fridge does get quite a bit of condensation on the roof, and you might even be able to see in there some droplets of water that happens. That's pretty much happened from day one, and I was sort of expecting that based on some reviews I'd seen, but that's okay. It does make anything that's wrapped in paper or cardboard a little soggy, but most of the time that's not really a major concern. With a little bit of paper towel and some spray and wipe, you're able to keep this thing fairly clean, fairly dry pretty easily. There's not much more else to say about the inside of the fridge because it keeps food cold. It really does the job. It has worked really well for me and it's never skipped a beat. Just on that alone, I'd definitely say that this is a great option for the budget conscious folks out there, which in 2025, aren't we all? I had seen some comments regarding the way that the fridge seals, that it was a bit poor around where the rubber seal is on the inside of the drawer. I'll show you what that looks like. You can see that rubber seal which runs right around the top sides and bottom. There's a ridge there, and it presses up against that and creates the seal. Now I think some of those issues may have been on an earlier model of this fridge. So this was bought in 2024, and I know it's been around for a few years, so there may have been a slight variation in the sizing or the way that sort of locks in with this latch on the front, which I have found to be quite a positive locking experience and not a lot of movement in the drawer itself from side to side or up and down. And it may have been to do with different types of driving, so corrugations or some heavy duty off-roading or hardcore off-roading or something. But in all of my experience with this on some pretty corrugated roads out in central Queensland is that I didn't have any problems with the seal keeping the fridge closed or anything leaking or anything like that. So before I close it back up, the drawer extension, the drawer pulls almost the whole way out. So you're able to get really easy access to everything that you've got in your fridge, whether it be right up the back for some cans where there's a bit of a skinnier divider section right at the back, or your food and drinks that you might store right at the front in that other smaller, skinnier section. Again, those dividers are removable with some sliders on them so you can hold things in a bit more. Let's close the drawer up and let's look at the rest of it. The display panel on the front is very, very basic. We've got power, we've got an up, we've got it down, and we've got our little display which shows our temperature and a few other things like error codes and things. We're going to hold the power button to turn it on. It's actually quite a quiet fridge, which is great. There's not too much noise when you're sitting around at camp and the fridge kicks in. To adjust the temperature, we can use the up and down arrows. We can increase the temperature if we want to have it set at fridge temperatures. So just a few presses through to the right temperature that you want to set it on. While I was using the fridge for a longer extended touring trip, I was running the fridge on around -2. That was with a fridge full of different types of food, so meat, cheese, eggs, fruit, vegetables. Running that temperature of -2 really helped to keep the temperature as even as possible from the front of the fridge right to the back of the fridge for different foods. And then we can also use the down arrow to change it if we want to start freezing all the way to -10. You'll find plenty online about this on the King's website, all the specs, even a user manual, so you can get a lot of those specification type things from there. I've got my fridge screwed down on some custom made brackets onto the top of one of my drawers, so getting it out is easy to do. But just so you can see the back, we've got the back of the fridge here where the compressor and all the other components are. On the side, so looking at the front of the fridge, it's the left hand side, we've got the Anderson connector or quick connect connector down in there, and we've obviously got some vents on all sides to help dissipate heat. When you compare this with other fridges of the same sort of class, it's really difficult to make sometimes a 3, 4, 5 times the amount of value, dollar value, jump to get a very similar product. I guess the question is, would I recommend this fridge? If you're budget conscious, low to medium amounts of usage, even high, if you manage it well, I think you're going to get great value for money out of this fridge. Intention of this is more of a real world usage, what my experience has been with it, and I've been really, really happy. So I think it probably answers itself, but should you get one of these fridges? If you're budget conscious and you're looking to get into the market, this fridge will be right up your alley.